These are the requirements for your final presentation. This is for Media Research Methods, MediaCom 3903. You need at least 8 slides, probably more. You can take as many slides as you would like. The point of it is to have information that's legible, or we can read it from afar. So make sure on your first slide to have just your name, the title of your project, and anything else that's relevant. You can have the year, the name of the class, my name, etc. A few things. You need to make sure that it's readable, like if you were in the back of a room, someone that could read it, which makes it ADA it's a requirement of ADA and makes it readable for all types. The text size should be probably 32-point font or larger. You need something that's a high contrast between the text and the background. So black text, white background. You can have a light pastel background. You can even turn it around and have a white font and maybe a royal blue background. So anything that makes it readable from afar. On your second slide, why did you pick this? Okay, so tell us a little something about it. This is not going to be paragraphs of information. It's going to be a couple bullets because similarly to what I'm doing right now, you're going to be doing the explaining. So you'll be either in front of the video or you'll be doing it as a PowerPoint like I am now. So explain what was your rationale, what was your justification for doing it. On slide number 3, you're going to talk about your literature review. Tell us about the major players, for example, whatever theory that you connected your study to. Talk about the person that derived the study. You can talk about some of the literature that inspired you to go forward with your study. Don't forget the textbook. The textbook has some good sources too. Slide number 4, this is where you're going to describe your study. So the first, slide 2 was about the topic, what you wanted to find out, your interpretation. And then slide 4 is where you really drill down. So talk more about the theory, the method. So if you did an interview, who did you interview? Who was in your population? Was it all female? Was it male and female 50-50, 40-60%, etc.? So you want to talk about that particular, population, age, any kind of demographic that you could think of. The methodology, if you were doing focus groups. Is there someone that you were following with regard to, that inspired you, a social scientist that inspired you? So the other things that you want to talk about is why you think this was valid. What did you do properly in your study? Are there any concepts or constructs? So if you followed a particular theory, is there, if you're talking about a media ecology theory, what did you particularly follow? Was it the hot and cold ideas behind McLuhan, or was it something else? So that's where you can talk about concepts and constructs. Levels of measurement, again, that talks about what you're measuring. So if you're doing content analysis, you can discuss what you're actually counting, so to speak, and the sampling of it. Were you doing 4 hours of videos, 17 hours of videos? Were you counting people touching their face in a public setting, etc.? So that's what your levels of measurement and your sampling would be, like we described. Who's your population? If your population, let me back that up. If your population was traditionally aged college students, then your sampling might be 20 media communication students at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. That's your sample size. The research methods used in mass media and communication, so how does it connect to your field of study? So you did something with focus groups, for example. What's the connection to communication at large? Well, it's marketing and, it's inquiry. Slide 5 is the data analysis. So after you've done all this, you thought about an idea in slide 2, you looked through your literature review for slide 3, you describe what your hopes and your dreams for your particular study were in slide 4. Slide 5 is going to the outcomes. What did you find out? And you'll discuss the results. Slide 6 talks about any aha moments. So what really worked, what made you pleased, why were you happy, what really worked out well for you or even surprised you. Slide 7 is the lessons learned. So what didn't work out as well? Please don't tell us that you waited until the end of the semester to do your work. Tell us something that's useful so that we can think about, using it in future classes. So for example, if there was a software that you found particularly helpful, that's useful to all of us. Anything that you think would be a good tip, lesson learned that you thought would take, that you weren't aware of. Slide 8, anything else. You can't get a lot of information on one slide, so you need slide 8, 9, 20, you might be up to there. So anything that you think that you could possibly use, you're good for. And then when you're done creating your PowerPoint, you can either do it like I'm doing it right now and discuss over and use it as a voiceover, or you can find a TV monitor and present it like you would have in class where you're in front of the PowerPoint.